And the owner went to me, offer him 10 grand a show for a residency.
We're standing around and I'm like, what are you going to play to this? And he's like, don't worry, Tom, I'm going to fuck them up.
We ended up being in Mixmag. We had like a 2-page spread.
Oh, great. So I've got to look after someone I've idolised.
We want to take your shares off of you and you're not getting any money. 6 or 7 months later, I got diagnosed with cancer.
Welcome to Loud and Unfiltered. Today we've got a very special podcast. Two serious promoters from the London scene. Welcome to the podcast, Nikki and Tom. How are we doing, guys? All good?
Yeah, very nice to see you.
Yeah, you too. Like, this has been a long time coming, especially with you, Nikki.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for ages, and like we've worked together. We first starting to work together about, it must be like 15 years ago now, isn't it?
More than that. 2006.
Oh wow.
Possibly 2007 maybe.
Yeah, can you remember?
I
the
try and
first?
measure things by the age of my oldest son now.
Right. Okay.
He's 16, so I go back 16 years, then go back a few more. Yeah, so yeah, it was
Then a
more,
few more.
Yeah, then it was more than 15 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tom, we've worked together on a few projects, so yeah, it's just really good to have you guys on the podcast. And yeah, we want to get into find out about your new project that you're doing together. But like, we want to set the scene a little bit, just to let some of our listeners know just a little bit about you guys, really. Yeah, do you want to tell us a little bit about your backgrounds, what you've been doing over the last couple of years, and kind of like how you first really got into promoting, really? Tom,
Yeah,
do you want to
sure.
kick us off?
Yeah, so now 16 years ago, I was working in music PR. It was my first. I went to uni, and first person in my family to go to uni, which was amazing. And it was a bit of a means to an end to me, to be honest. I wanted to get back in. Went to East London Uni, and just meet people, basically be on the scene, learn a bit, obviously, but I'm just not like academic at all. And then 2 years in, one of my tutors was like, oh, my friend's got this music thing. I know that you've studied music, access to music before. You might want to go and have a little work experience, whatever. And it was a music PR company in West London. And so I quit uni 2 years in, went and worked there. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted to do. I was sort of 19 to 21, did that. And then got offered for a mutual friend a job at now defunct EMI.
Right, okay. All right. So you went in with a label first, then, yeah.
Well, there was an offer on the table for that.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, my partner at the time, she was working for this new club in East London it wasn't even called Oval Space then, it was called E2, E4 or something ridiculous, Gotching or something like that. And she said that the bookers there were looking for an assistant and someone who could look after some of the press stuff.
Right.
So I was like, that kind of sounds dreamy. The label job offered way more money, and this was like so unbelievably entry level. But I was like, that's the side of things that I want to do.
Brilliant.
So I did take that, went into that, and yeah, it was gangbusters into Oval Space.
Yeah.
Ended up doing 5 years there. Launched Pickle Factory, was head of music, and then went on. I moved out to the coast into a place called Ramsgate next to Margate. And then the bookers at Dreamland at the time in Margate, they just got loads of investment and they heard I was in the area. They were like, do you want to come and work with us? And I was like, do you know what? It's just there. I'm probably going to have a kid very soon.
Right, okay. You start thinking about that,
yeah. So yeah, went in there, was booker there for quite a few years, brought some in, really built that place out, which was amazing. Did some massive, you're doing shows from essentially 400 cap to 15,000 cap. So yeah, learned so much there. Obviously learned loads of Oval Space and stuff, but it was, definitely more of the high level promoter stuff.
Yeah,
there,
okay.
For sure. And then left there, went to Forum Birmingham, launched a new venue there, 3,500 capacity venue there, and then completely switched it up, got offered a job at the Burley clubs with under Richard Caring, so to being the music director for Annabelle's and all these West End swanky, members only places, which again was like really bloody interesting to do because that's not my world at all. But I can curate good music and the experience for the customer or whatever, and get more to the point, get people who wouldn't normally go there to go there, especially from an artist side of things. They'll be like, okay, you're saying it's okay, we'll do
Yeah.
it. You know,
Yeah, I mean, at the point of where I kind of asked you that, I just want to set the scene just because I think there's two real powerheads that have come together here. So
Yeah.
it's like you've worked everywhere and like,
done a lot.
yeah, you've done a lot. So yeah, I mean, Nikki, what like
Yeah.
quickly, like where, because you've fucking worked everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
Like, what have you kind of done? And then we could get really into it.
Yeah, quickly. I started.
Well, not quickly, but you know
I'm
what I
40,
mean, sorry.
well, I'm 48, so I think I was about maybe 19 or 20, throwing little parties with my mates, like around Romford. And then my mate one day said to me, "Oh, some vodka companies approached me. Do you remember Blavod vodka? It was black vodka.
No.
Right, no.
It never hit the market.
take off.
No, it never hit the market, probably because of us.
That wasn't a good party.
Nah. They come to us. They said, "Oh, we want to sponsor you to do a party. Here's some money.
Oh,
you,
wow.
You do a party, and we'll be they was our sponsor." So I was like, "All right, yeah, cool." So me and my mate done this party, and it come to the week of the event, and it was in the back room of the aquarium. I think this
Oh,
was now
wow.
my
What is that in Old Street?
yeah.
Yeah.
So this was like my first London party stepping
Wow.
outside of Essex. And the vodka company ended up pulling out the week of the party for some whatever reason. So we just done the party anyway. And it went really well. It was like a 130 capacity back room. So all the naughty stuff happens in the back room. A few of my friends were like performers at Manumission at the time. Do you know Howard Elvis used to do Elvis?
Right.
So I used to be an Elvis personator in Manumission.
Sounds like a fun party already,
20
this.
years ago. And he was like infamous. So he was there, and he brought along Miranda Cook, I think, one of the editors of Mixmag at the time.
Right.
And we ended up being in Mixmag. We had like a 2-page spread, and it was
Is this your first party?
yeah in London in this back room.
Oh,
And
wow.
It was I can remember certain things she wrote about it. Like one of my friends was just out of his head on acid, and he was pissing up Howard's leg in the middle of the dance floor. And Mixmag were just writing all this stuff, and it was it was just
Sounds like a proper party.
it was really good.
That's your first one.
Yeah, it was more socially acceptable to piss up people's legs on the dance floor back in them days. And then from there, I ended up. I think I went to Neighbourhood. Was my first proper job around maybe 2003 or 4. Lola's theme. Do you remember Lola's theme?
Yeah. Shapeshifters.
So
yeah.
I could see that being a number 1 hit. So I booked the Shapeshifters and give them their first gig,
No way.
Oh, wow.
knowing, and I timed it. So Lola's theme officially come out in the charts, went to number 1. And then that Saturday we had Shapeshifters at Neighbourhood.
Oh, wow.
So the owner of the club, off the back of that gig, offered me a job as my first real promotions manager job.
Wow.
So
I was just going to say, just then, just some questions to both of you, because we'll fly about and just like, do you think that's an important job as a booker to spot that and go, right, let's book that artist before it goes number 1?
back in them
Back then,
days,
yeah.
it was.
Important,
It was really important. I think now, no, everything's TikTok hits.
Do you know,
Right, okay,
do you know
yeah.
what? And actually, sort of 10 to 15 years ago, if you knew some of the producers, that was the benefit of like that relationship, because they'd be like,
okay.
I'm just working on that track with blah, 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 and it's going to come out on that label. And you knew that 6 months ahead. And so that would always really help you in terms of what you'd be booking, because you're like, oh, I know that's going to be an absolute smasher in 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, I never realised that, so it's just interesting to know how you did that.
I mean, with that one, I sort of knew it was just going to be a big hit.
Yeah.
And then so I got my first job at Neighbourhood, lasted a 2 or 3 years. Gave Milo his first, I think, London club show off the back of that.
Okay, so
But
Shapeshifters, Milo.
But to be fair, Rob Starr introed me to Milo and
Rob
made
was
that
on the
happen for me.
Rob was on the podcast just before you, so yeah.
I think we paid him like 700 quid for that gig. It was mad. And then it was massive. And then the owner saw how big it was, took a fortune on the bar. And the owner went to me, offer him 10 grand a show for a residency. So Milo, we offered him 10 grand for a show, and he'd done a residency for like 6 months.
Oh, wow.
That was great.
Yeah. Because
Mate,
you were kind of where we first met was kind of like the King's Cross area.
yeah,
So the Cross, the Quay, and things like that. Like
Yeah.
London was kind of very different to how it is now. Like
yeah,
what kind of were those days for you then? when
Yeah.
you were working in.
I
on
left
those?
neighbourhood and went to be promotions manager for TDK Cross Central,
Yeah, I
which
remember that.
was the Cross, the Quay, Bagley's or Canvas as it was called, all put together as one festival.
Mm.
So I went there, and off the back of that, it was struggling, and then I had a little bit of input. It done really well, and off the back of that, I got offered the job to run the Quay, and that's where I met you for doing that first bit of press.
Yeah.
And then
and we worked together for ages after that, so I must have done
yeah.
something right.
Yeah, I mean, back then it was just very Wild West. It's very hazy, but you could just do whatever you want, get away with murder, literal murder. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
The glory days.
Yeah. Like promoters used to get hung out of windows if they didn't pay their high fee, but they accepted it because they knew that was how things worked.
Right,
then.
okay.
Obviously.
Yeah, because I mean that's what I want to say. The difference between what it is now. You were saying promoters getting hung out of windows.
Yeah, obviously
and stuff
now you can't. You say Santa's not real, you get cancelled online.
Yeah.
So it's obvious. It was very different.
Yeah, I mean, just to sort of stay on that, and then moving on to you, Tom, because you both worked at very, very different places. How did you go about putting your stamp on those places, like the Cross of the Quay, because they became a very cultural place at that time for London? How did you put your stamp on there?
To be fair, the time I got there, the Cross was legendary already. The Quay was more underground, so I had the pleasure of running the Quay for the last 2 or 3 years before it all shut down.
Right.
So the Quay worked with some great promoters. Like we used to have Loco Dice on a Thursday night.
Oh wow.
And just working with the promoters back then. So you're going back 20 years or whatever. So David Oyston, who is now he's an agent.
Yeah.
He used to do something called DDD with Simon Morell.
Yes. Yeah.
Simon runs Pikes. Does he program Pikes?
Yeah.
So everyone back then doing stuff at the Quay, and then just everyone's gone on to do really well.
Right. Amazing.
So, but I've actually forgotten what was the question.
How do you put your stamp on the Cross and the Quay? Yeah.
I think I just continued doing what they were really doing. I had the pleasure of continuing it. Really, I wouldn't say. I think you end up living in that scene and breathing it, and pushing it more. So I suppose I pushed it more rather than I was responsible for it, because I wasn't. Yeah, I pushed it even more.
Right. Okay.
I think it's fair to say. Yeah.
And then Tom, really, what about you? I mean, you've worked for Dreamland, Oval Space, Pickle Factory. How did you put your kind of stamp on that, and what kind of memories from those places?
Well, I mean, Oval Space was insane because, honestly, it's one of those moments where you look back and we spoke about it all the time. I wish we had a camera in the office, because it was.
We wish we had one in there as well.
There was maybe because you're in the Matrix or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like there was so much crazy shit going on in that office, and it was so slapdash and just trying to make this thing work. And it was an amazing thing to be a part of, because a lot of times now there's just corporate bodies behind these big projects and whatever, and it is, we're in that world, it is what it is. But there was 2 directors, they both basically lived in Berlin for a bit. They did all right financially from their previous projects and family wealth and stuff like that, and then they were just like, we want to do this in London. It does not exist. We want the right crowd. We want people not to be doing all of these horrible things. We don't want to book all the stuff that everybody else is doing, because we find it really bland. And so we kind of had carte blanche in a way to just do exactly how we wanted a party to be. That doesn't say it was, not necessarily that it was all successful, that's for sure. But we could go, right, we love that. Let's book it. Let's give it a go. They want to build something. Let's give them a residency. We do loads of label parties on the terrace, which was excellent, because they would just be like these random little, from Munich or whatever, like this random label that we all love and listen to and are geeks with. And we do it, and 20 people would turn up, and you're like, maybe we won't do that again. But at least it built very slowly, to be fair, but it built very slowly to a point where everybody was like, oh, right, that's the place. And then, to be honest, Oval was tricky because even though it's 1,000-1,200 cap, like that's still a lot of tickets, especially then to sell. It wasn't like the standard thing of massive headliners doing club shows at all. It was, and to be fair, no, a lot was doing Ministry.
Yeah.
We had the clubs at the time that were, Fabric was obviously still doing what they were doing, but we tried to be that different sort of difference maker in the market. And then when Pickle Factory, which was in the same sort of cul-de-sac of where Oval was, that came online. We built that out. We made that exactly what we wanted it to be, to do all of these amazing little showcases to like 250 people. We were like, we put 2 foot, rock wall, what's it called? Like acoustic treatment, rock wall stuff in the walls, so that it was like a studio. The whole thing
just sounded amazing.
Panels. Yeah. We had 8-point, D&B system installed. D&B guys came over from Germany, were there for like a month, making it all acoustically treated and sexy.
Oh, amazing.
And that was amazing because we were like, oh, this massive person actually wants to come and play with us. Because they just heard how amazing it was. We had a really good team. And I think, we did. To be honest, if it existed now, I think we'd do so much better than we did then. I think everybody was
a bit ahead of your
learning
game
on the job.
Yeah,
there wasn't really loads of experience behind it, if I'm honest.
And, I mean, just like who was teaching you? Because you were saying you were learning on a job. Was it kind of a similar thing for you when you were in those early days as well? The point I'm trying to get to, I want to show the experience that you guys have had through working across the whole spectrum of the London scene to then move on to this new project. But learning on the job. Like,
if I think back now, for me personally, it was literally making it up as you go along and learning on the job. But I was just quite fortunate to be with Neighbourhood. I was the graphic designer, the booker, and I'd done everything, so I really enjoyed it because I like the creative aspect of it, and I got to book a lot of my friends and acts that I wouldn't normally book. But it was a lot of trial and error, to be honest.
Yeah.
But because we was making a lot of money, and I suppose clubbing was huge in that era. So even when you was making mistakes, you was making so much money that no one fucking noticed.
It didn't really matter as well.
My boss, Billy, when I was at the Key and the Cross, he used to say to me, I don't care if you don't even turn up in the office, as long as we're making an absolute fortune and the numbers are in there, I don't give a fuck.
Did you ever take that literally?
I did. No, because I used to go out, obviously, but I'd always turn up at the office and crack on.
I think that's a major thing of working electronic music. Like, there's a lot of people
work hard, play harder.
That's it. You probably had a lot of people who come and work for the club and they'll be gone in a week. I was just the same here. People just think, oh yeah, I'm just here to party. But I was like, they actually realise there's a lot of hard work.
A very different attitude to now, I'd say, and that's like a massive change, or it may be an evolution because it has actually protected a lot of people's mental health. People are looked after a lot better, and they have rights and whatnot. But you do notice now when you're like, how the hard yards you put in then really do help you succeed later. Like if you you're not necessarily going out all the time, whatever, but if you work your absolute balls off, and you're really in the scene, then that it sets you up massively. It really helps the business that you're in at the time.
Definitely. And so, like, obviously I've just set the scene there, like, for people who want to say how, like, this new project Eutopia, how's that kind of come about? Let's kind of get into that. Like, how did you two start working together? Had you previously worked together, or how did it all come around?
Previously,
I like that we're drinking a beer on the podcast.
Really,
let's go.
Like,
I was promotions managing a small bar, Paul Street, only a little club, and I think the first time I really spoke to you is I booked your Detour
Discotheque, which marauding disco do around the world. And
stuff. But I always knew of Tom because you know what everyone's doing, as well in the industry, and knew he was good at what he does. But with Utopia, I was very fortunate. So Mikey and Will, the directors. Mikey, I used to work with at Ministry. So Mikey is responsible for Back to 95, Groove Odyssey, 51st State. So Mikey's been around forever and he's well respected. And he just kept on saying to me, I've got something coming and I want you to come on board as soon as I get it. And then he wouldn't tell me what it was. he was very secretive, and then he got the license granted. I think it was like come through New Year's Eve or the day before New Year's Eve.
Right.
License come through. He phoned me and went, right, I've got this venue, I've got the license, blah, 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 blah. I said to you, I want you to come on board, be a part of it. So I was like, yeah, cool, let's go. And I think it took about 9 months to build it, building site. Like,
I was saying,
yeah,
had you been build it as in you
yeah,
actually
great
put the
space.
club together? Like,
yeah, the yard had no floor.
Yeah.
The warehouses, the ceilings were really high. Everything needs to be.
Honestly, the amount of work
Yeah.
since when I first viewed it
Yeah.
to like what it is
Yeah.
now is insane.
Yeah. Was that exciting to be involved in a project like when you
Yeah.
literally got a blank canvas?
Yeah,
kind of
completely.
thing? Yeah.
I remember coming on site to look at it, January, March, May, maybe like May or early April, and they went to me, right, get ready to launch end of May. And I was looking around, I was going, nah, you're having a laugh.
How many
nah.
times have we all heard that?
Yeah, no. I said,
Can we open next month?
nah,
Are you
I
mad?
think you're looking at June or July. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's a building site. And then all of a sudden things picked up, and it was, I think the first event we done was the last Saturday in June in the yard, where it was actually acceptable and you wasn't going to get killed, health and safety issues or anything.
Yeah.
So then, when did you come on board? When did you start spending?
So late May, I think, but late May, early June, sort of that sort of time
Yeah.
this year. But I'd never. So Will, who's one of the directors, we'd sort of flirted around the scene for a while because he used to have a festival in Haggerston, so there was always chats about oval space crossover, blah blah blah. And just been in the scene for ages. Obviously, known Nikki from the scene for years. When I was doing at Dreamland, even like he was always on copy with like We Are chats and blah blah blah. But he just said, Tom, I've got this project. I know you collaborate on a lot of these sort of things. Come and see it, see what you think. Want to put it in this direction. Nikki's on board, blah blah blah. And then just got involved, and it's getting there.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I remember when you guys come and showed me around. I was kind of like, oh wow, like, this is a great space. And it was like, what? I was going to say, maybe before you guys, why Barking? Or is it just that space? This space just came available.
You'll find that you have got to go to an area that is underdeveloped, not getting the funding it probably should get. And you'll find spaces are more available in these areas.
Yeah.
The further you move out from London, the easier.
That's it. You're seeing. I think we're seeing a moment where like Printworks, Drum Sheds, and other venues are moving out. Are you seeing that from the test shows that you've done? That doesn't really matter where it is. It's, as long as you're putting good content in there, people are going to.
Do you know what? That is. I mean, it obviously is the first thing you think about as like a slight concern. You're like, oh my god, this is a little bit further out than people are used to. And the most positive aspect of this all is, we're doing 4,500 capacity shows, and they sell out.
Amazing.
So people, I think, we get stuck in this bubble of like our age and our matrix. And actually, if you're, especially post-COVID, but let's say 18 to 30, you're generally used to going quite far out to go to a rave anyway. Like it's not, or a venue in general, because
it's just the older crew, isn't it?
It's all of us. We want to go back to.
I say to promoters, like, you travel to go to a party in Ibiza, you travel to Glastonbury. Like, one promoter whose crowd is from Essex said to me, I won't say who it is, but he said to me, my crowd won't go to Barking. And I was like, but they go past Barking to go to Printworks. I don't understand. I don't live in Essex.
Hey, when you think of it like that,
And it is, honestly, it's so so super easy to get to there now, especially with Barking Riverside Station. It's on the overground. It connects to basically where a lot of people now live, Walthamstow.
There's a huge development. I remember when I was there, when I had a look around, a huge development happening over there, easy access to get in and out. So
you're on the edge of Essex and London as well. So everyone who lives in Essex and Kent, and who probably are these days 80% of the clubbers that go out in London anyway.
That's it. Yeah,
they're all on your doorstep as well. So
it's not been an
been
issue.
alright.
Which honestly, it was one of those
Yeah.
where you're like,
Okay.
well, this
Yeah.
could be, but it's
Yeah.
not.
I was just going to ask you. You talked about you've done some shows, 4,500 people already coming in and selling out. Like, how are you sort of differentiating between like drum sheds and like magazine and them other big venues? How is Utopia kind of different for those? And what's the offering that you guys are doing? And what's like, sell me the club? Like, what have you put in there?
So we're very conscious of where we are, and this is
Yeah.
the same for most of these places when they inhabit these. And coming back to your previous point,
Yeah.
You're allowed to build these spaces now in these places because the council and police are generally on side as well, because they're like,
Right.
they realise they want to take all of this from there. Let's take it out here, and it's more contained, and we're obviously good operators, so we can operate in those spaces, and that's how you get your license. But the coming back to your point, like the what was I going to say?
makes it
The difference.
Yeah.
So the point of difference here is that we know that we are in an industrial desert, right? And yes, that's not too far from stations and whatnot. Obviously, Uber changes the world and every other taxi company, but we've had to make it an oasis in an industrial desert.
Yeah.
So we have worked very closely with Area 51, with the design of the space, especially in the yard.
Is that for all the production and everything like that?
So all of the, so basically in the yard now we have a really nice perm fixed stage. We've got pergola, which over the which can be shaded and stuff over the audience. We can add production to that. There's greenery, there's like foliage and whatever. We're just finishing off Warehouse 3 and the front signage and stuff like that. And they're just brilliant designers. They work on various projects in Glastonbury. They do Winter Wonderland, all these sort of things. So they know how to build it and make it sexy, and then we know how to make them come to the site, right?
Yeah.
And then once they're there, then it's on us to make sure they stay there, have a great time. We're working with Soul Shakers, who are incredible for the bars. You know, the products that they do, the service that they do is incredible. So you are there and you are getting a great experience, and you stay there.
Yeah,
because there's nothing else in the area.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I've seen a lot online. There's been a lot of media. You're in the Guardian. There was like some really, really positive stories about it. Like, what's kind of feedback been like from a couple of your, because you're open, but you've done some test events, but now you're about to like launch a series for kind of 2026. Like, what's the feedback like, and then what's kind of coming up over the next couple of months to a year, really? What's the plan?
Yeah, we've got New Year's Eve is the next big show, Space. Excuse me, great lineup across the board. One of your events. If you want to go into it. The lineup's wicked.
Salado, Book of Shades. We've got Blue Mitsu. We've got James Abila. We've got Sun City taking over a room, so we've got the garage element as well. It's big. I can't remember who else is on
Probably
there.
reflects if you go back 20 years when Space was wicked and Space, how you really wanted that's where you wanted to be if you was going to be at Space at any point in these years.
Right, okay.
It sort of reflects Space had a mishmash of DJs for 24 hours.
Behind you, there's that picture of Space behind us.
Across the board.
We're all there.
Yeah, and then so this sort of reflects how Space was originally and across the board lineup.
You've got Fat Tony, and then you've got MC Det and Brocky and
right, okay, amazing.
Heartless Crew, and Matt Jam Lamont.
Is that because you've got lots of different spaces where you can be more creative with the lineups?
Yeah,
and things
4
like that
different
as well,
spaces. It makes you think though. Do the kids, the 25-year-olds, appreciate it? Because they might not know of the old Space. They might have only caught the end of the new. Space.
That's very true.
Do you know what I mean? So it's still you still got to market it and sell it.
God,
Even like we know it's good, but the customer, do they know how good it really is?
That, you know,
that's
the
Yeah, I was going to say, were you involved in a bit of the creative side of it? When you say you work with like Area 51 and people like, but were you involved in like how the club's going to look, how it like
I changed the
feel
colour
of it,
toilets, the paint in the toilet,
and I changed it. No, Nikki. You know, absolute credit. He built a lovely brand palette and colorway for the whole site. And actually, when I came on board, because I've just been working on various different projects, and it's not necessarily just on the sort of music programming and booking. It's actually creating and designing spaces.
Right. Okay.
So going into there, I was like, right, we've both been in so many venues and clubs, and we know what people generally enjoy and how you should interact with the space.
Yeah.
And
that's your so Tom's really good at the interior design and stuff like that, the colours, etc.
Oh, right, okay.
Whereas I design the logo and more of that creative sort of side. So it's quite a good contrast when you think about it as a partnership.
And it definitely, you know, we knew that we always had 4 spaces, one of which is outside, which has obviously got its own USP. But inside, you don't need 3 warehouses that all black and look exactly the same. Like that's insane. Like it's just silly. No one needs that. So we've got the spaces, and they all have different identities, especially with Warehouse 3, which we're still in finishing off development with. And that's more of like your lifestyle, acoustic paneling, cocktail chill room where you're actually getting a good product and it's not fast. It's like we can see people's habits have changed massively. If you're going out, you used to go into nice, you know, small plates bars and whatever else. We're in that time, so it doesn't need to be here's a can of Red Stripe, go and get your head down. It's a pitch black box. You know what I mean?
Right,
so trying to evolve on that and use it. And again, it comes back to if people are there, they're there all the time. They're not going to leave, and we don't want them to leave. So let's keep them there, and they can go in there, meet their mates, see something good. Vinyls on the walls. You know, like it's just it needs to be.
Do you feel like that it's a moment for a place like Utopia to fit into the current market of what is going on in the London scene?
Definitely.
Yeah, I do. For me, it feels like how venues used to be going back maybe 15 plus years, like raw, personable.
Yeah.
Because it's, I suppose we're grassroots promoters. We're not hidden behind a corporate like Broadwick, etc.
Yeah.
So it's very personal to us as well. So we get stuck in on every element. The promoters know that they're going to get an honest conversation with us.
Yeah.
And the venue feels a little bit old school. You've got your outdoors, which is like London East, and it's got that outdoor vibe, or your DC10 outdoor bit, the calls. But then you got your old school warehouses.
Yeah.
So it's something I think that fits in.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think you know, I guess a lot of the question is like, oh, do we need another 4,000 capacity?
Yeah, that's it. That was kind of what my thinking was.
When you break it down, you've got up to sort of 1,700 outside.
Yeah.
You've got 800, 1,200 and 800. So however you want to coordinate that, it's up to you. If you do the whole whack, obviously you're going for that. But it's not just one room. So you have different experiences. You can have different music. You can have, you know, if you want to do it, you can have a higher price point VIP room, like with particular audiences and people in there. And that in itself, I think, just adds to the element of being able to move around. Like one of my, I'm sure we'll come onto it, but like one of my favourite clubs in London is Night Tales for that particular reason.
Yeah. So you're indoors, outdoors. Yeah.
I love it because you've got, like, it just adds to the element of the night. You could go there for a day and not see anything. You could just go and get, you know, a bit of food, sit down, nice music in the background, but you've got the outdoor space, you've got the indoor space, you've got the club space, you've got like all these little different pop-up events things. And so I love it because it just keeps it fresh.
Yeah. I was going to say, you both seem, well, obviously it's your project, you're both very excited about it. I think it's an amazing move for what you're trying to do there and just offer something else for London. This podcast is all about kind of the London scene. How do you think it's kind of changed over the years then, from when like you were promoting like 15 years ago to when you were getting into the scene? How do you think it's kind of changed now? And
I think obviously things.
And is it exciting again? Well, there's lots of new clubs opening.
Yeah,
like every 3 or 4 weeks, there's another new club opening.
The contrast, or everything was a bit more relaxed years ago. Everything was a bit more Wild West years ago, whereas now everything's done more. Everything's very contracts. Everything's very like you've got to follow a certain formula, drive people in early.
Yeah.
So they're completely different eras. I
think you could, like, it was a lot easier to take risks back in the day.
Right, okay.
Because everyone's cheaper, wasn't it?
That's not just clubs.
Yeah.
It's just in general, right?
Yeah.
And I think that then drives a sensibility of who's able to then go out, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, talking about the stuff with Pickle Factory at the same time. It was tricky because it's so small. You need to, it's beyond impossible to make that space work unless you're like 150% occupancy. Do you know what I mean? It's just like not turning the money to have a really good team to do that thing.
Yeah.
And it's just right now, what I love about the scene actually is you have collectives, which I think is so important again to have, like, not necessarily brands just coming up. It's like collectives of people who just really like a certain sound.
Yeah.
They make something, they do it, and all of their mates.
Yeah, it's creating those communities, I guess.
It's not about the headliners.
Yeah.
And I think that's brilliant because we've got to this point where everything was about the headliners, and every headliner was charging X. Keep going. Who's gonna? And everybody's bidding against the same bloody price, and that obviously has a detrimental effect on from the venue or business itself to customer to all of it, because it's going to reflect on it. So.
Yeah, do you know what? Thinking about it, London, I book the diary for London East, and it's all about community. If you haven't got your brand and your community, and all your community follow you around, you haven't got anything.
Yeah.
The 2 or 3 times we've had headliners at London East flopped.
Yeah, really,
massively.
Right, okay,
flopped.
so it's a massive
big lineup
communities. Yeah,
really big lineup.
Yeah,
stacked big. Flopped, so that is a community, whereas back in the day it was all headliner driven.
And to your point, yes, there is places opening, which is fucking excellent for the scene. That is very good. You need competition, you need lots of different options, but I'm sure all of those spaces, especially if we're coming to central London, West London, whatever, they're very much for a different clientele.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
and they have tables from the off. They have all these things, which needs to exist. That's absolutely fine. And people can inhabit those spaces and enjoy them as they do. But it's very hard to get back to that, like, original, just going out with your mates to a club and it's
for 3 days.
Quid and, you know, like, oh, there's an after.
Have you got any examples of some of the good communities, collectives that are, like, doing really good bits in London at the minute?
Well, I think let's take a good shout on the queer collectives that you have now. I mean, the and sex positivity in general, I think, is great, and that just having a home for that, and people then realize they have a home in that environment, and they really follow it and champion it, and everybody's really, you know, happy and comfortable in that environment, rather than a faceless place trying to put on a queer party, which I think everybody could see through for years, right? I think even, you know, Nikki can go into it, but a lot of the stuff that Nikki works with as well, in terms of like the Dance on Arrivals and Appetites and all these people that they're basically they don't book headliners.
Yeah, they've built some really amazing brands, haven't they? Yeah, I know it's going international now.
4,000
Thailand and
4,000 tickets. Didn't even announce a DJ. It's crazy.
Yeah. Wow, that's unbelievable.
Really goes to show like the weight of it. I mean, there's so many collectives from Bristol, especially, where they're smashing it. They're absolutely smashing it because people believe in it. It's not trying to sell you a gimmick. They're silly. Like, people like that stuff, right? It's real, and I think. Reels. Maybe that's the take home here. Rather than this like faceless, here's a plan, this is what we do it, and it's just that way, and you just get served ads.
That's it.
With that anymore.
No, I love
everything.
Yeah, I love that. I think there's some really good parties and really good collectives that are changing the London scene. But I basically want to talk about you mentioned some of the Wild Wild West days, and there's like loads of mad stories. You kind of launched a festival called We Are Festival, and I heard something that working with different business partners and kidnapping some business partners, maybe, I don't know, was that something that you ever did?
Yeah, so not obviously
definitely didn't happen.
Never kidnapped anyone, but it's an ugly word. I suppose you have to put it into context. We Are Festival was great. Me and my best mates started the festival. Best mates for years. And then I suppose as you get more eyes on you, and some people's egos get maybe bigger than what they are, and they want to be, because it was a partnership. Me and my mate was partners. Trying to be factual, he wanted to be in charge, I suppose, where it was an equal decision-making process. So it's, unfortunately, it went a bit sour, and I got pushed out of the company.
Right, okay.
So I suppose when you get pushed out of your own company, and I think my kids were quite young, so I had 2 young kids, and you're getting everything took off you. Do you know what I mean? And at the time, it's like it was your world because you created it.
Yeah.
So things went a bit sour. The money man behind it, very wealthy man, was a friend of my business partner at the time. So he had that clout on his side.
Right. Okay.
So he wanted to be in charge. We went down. Things just went sour. It got to a point where we were sitting around the table and I was being very nice up until this point, just going along with it. I was like, look, this has all gone sour. I want X amount of money and I'm going to keep my shares in the company. And the X amount of money was quite a big sum of money.
Yeah. And
they said to me, no, we want to take your shares off of you and you're not getting any money.
Oh, right. Fuck.
And then the shareholder, the big shareholder, the wealthy dude, he basically sat in front of me and he went to me, look, we'll take this to court if you want, but I've got more money than you. So you're just not,
oh, wow.
Only the wealthiest people win these situations. And then it was at that point where I was like, all right, okay, we played nice. I told my friends what had happened. And then within a week of months of it being all horrible, within a week situation, they, I suppose, unwittingly conceded and gave me what I wanted. But it obviously went to not a very nice situation for them.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just trying to be respectful. I'm a bit older now and I want to have a bit of empathy as well.
Yeah, I mean, these things happen.
Kidnapping, I suppose, being took to a place you don't want to go and signing over an agreement.
It didn't happen, but if that did happen, it'd be horrible, wouldn't it?
But things back then. Look,
my kind of point was just like how the scenes changed and stuff like that, and there's mad stories that have happened, like with DJs being backstage and stuff like that, or I don't know, trying to get people to play and just mad stories that have happened.
Yeah, I think back then, especially at Ministry of Sound, it was just like the more money you chuck at DJs, the more they're going to play for you as well.
Right, okay.
So it sort of become, I don't know for you, but when I was at Ministry, it sort of become all about the money then.
I think, do you know what? It was really good for Oval because we had that like Berlin connection.
Yeah.
And so we were able to get the Dixons, the Innovision stuff, the Arms, etc. And all of these guys wanted to play. We'd get all night longs. We'd do all nights with Laurent Garnier, etc. like that. And all of the good label showcases as well. And it was because there was literally, maybe Fabric was the only option. And, you know, at that time, I'm sure they'd freely admit wasn't in the best place.
Yeah.
And so we were the option. And we were working with some great promoters in there as well. And we had the ability to just put on some fucking wicked shows. And they'd go with you, and it wasn't the money. And you know what? And then I remember the point when it flipped. We don't need to discuss who and why and what.
Yeah.
But there were other promoters in or clubs in London who were just paying, and it wasn't Ministry, it was paying so much more money, ridiculous sums of money
to get those artists
just
and
to
just
get
to
those
take
artists.
it away
And
from
then-
you guys.
and
Right,
speak
okay.
to the artists and be like, look, we're paying you as much as we possibly can. Like, we'll give you a bit of this, we'll give you that. And like, yeah, they've just come in and given us
Oh wow.
X amount more. You know, not naming any names or anything. And that was tricky because then your personal relationships got a bit, you couldn't rely on it as much, and it got a bit strained.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I get it. Like, you've got to feed your family, you've got to do whatever.
Yeah.
But like, it really did change the dynamic of the whole scene.
Yeah.
Because the particular business that came in and did all of that, it just lambasted the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's very tricky to then come back. And that's where actually Pickle was the saving grace, because you'd say, yeah, we want you to do that. You can do Pickle, and they'd all want to play Pickle, but we'd be like, but you have to do
You have to do that as well. So you had a bargaining power as well. Yeah. I was going to say, did you have to get more creative in them days? Like, I want to talk to you, Nikki, about Ministry, because I've heard there's a number of people that work in my office or have gone on to bigger jobs after Ministry, but they always talk about all the mad marketing ideas that you come with. So same with you when you're at Oval Space, where you can't necessarily get these artists. Did you have to come up with like mad marketing ideas to fill the club or to get artists to come on board and get involved?
Yeah, so Ministry, when I first started at Ministry, it was Ministry has cycles like every other club.
Mm-hmm.
So Ministry was on its cycle where it took a bit of a low. No one was going there, no one was talking about it. So I started there, didn't really have any much team. A few people got let go who weren't great at their jobs. So I come in and I had to sort of rebuild the team.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I always looked at Ministry when I was at all my other jobs. There's always going to be people who slag Ministry off, but it's a great brand. And I always wanted to work there as well, because I was like, I'd love to get my hands on that.
Yeah.
Because Ministry of Sound have got the ability to do well. Because they've got the money, you've just got to have the right team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the right
So,
ideas.
yeah,
I suppose,
and the right ideas. So I think I started there, and Jodie was my assistant booker. Jodie's gone on, she books Ushuaia.
Yeah.
She's done really well. We took Sam Mooney on board, and I think it was his first social media job.
Right, okay.
He's obviously gone on creative head, High Universe.
Yeah.
Dennis Menendez.
Yeah.
So we had a really good team.
Yeah, you've
And
got my MD. You've my MD as
Josh
well.
was
Just
there.
as I will say
And
there.
so over, like, I think I was there maybe, I don't know, 4 years, built the team up. And people, when you speak to agents, this is the harsh truth. Agents will always say there's a Ministry tax. My artists don't want to play Ministry, so we're going to charge you more money.
Right.
And it was something you could speak about, because it was like, yeah, look, fair enough. So Ministry had the money, but we had a really good team, and our marketing was amazing. Like, we was doing organic posts that were getting millions of views.
Yeah, I remember all this. Yeah,
there was like me and Sam come up with one video where we had pretend CCTV of someone like having a wank in the car park. And like, it was obviously all made up. We put it online. We put it online asking, does anyone know who this is to the general public? And I think we had to take it down in the end, because we had hundreds of people phoning the club going, is that my boyfriend? Yeah. We hit the marketing really well. The team were great. But then it just come down to like throwing more money than what you normally had to get the artists.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they were some of the, I remember a lot of the social media posts. I used to boot off all the time. Yeah.
But throwing loads of money at them artists didn't actually affect what all the other clubs were paying, because we had our own Ministry tax.
Right.
Because no one wanted to play there.
Yeah.
But we ended up having like Adam Bayer, Dixon, DJ Harvey, who I brought back from America for his first gig since, I don't know, he used to play there years ago. Yeah. So we've done some great stuff at Ministry. Yeah.
Like, so after that, it's kind of, I mean, COVID kind of happened. And then, you got sort of kind of seriously ill.
I was thinking about it. I had a right
from that.
bad few years.
Yeah.
I went from Ministry, went to Rinse FM, run Rinse FM as general manager for a year, and then COVID hit, like 2020. Was it 2020?
Yeah, around
March
that.
2020.
Yeah, around that.
So loads of people lost their jobs. I lost my job, and then I think maybe like 6 or 7 months later, I got diagnosed with cancer. So,
oh wow!
I remember I think it's actually good to talk about this, because men don't talk enough.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to.
Yeah, I was when I used to have a crap, go toilet, my bum used to bleed loads, and I used to put it down to piles, just from going out, bad lifestyle, piles. But then it got to a point one day where it literally felt like I was shitting broken glass, and I knew then something was wrong.
Right.
But by then, I'd probably had blood coming out of my arse for a couple of years, maybe. So I should have really gone sooner to the doctors.
Yeah.
So I had when they put the camera up your bum, was it I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, that's it. I had a colonoscopy. So I was laying there, and I was watching the screen, watching the camera go around,
Yeah.
and literally the camera's going up the bum, and then it got to a point where it was like something out of Stranger Things. It was
Wow.
red, black, horrible.
Wow.
And I looked at the consultant and I just went, "That's cancer, isn't it?" And he went, "Yep." Because I just knew. I was like, "Don't." Yeah, I just
Right,
went, "That's
okay.
cancer." He went, "Yeah." I was like, "Whoa." So he just said, "Yeah, it's cancer." So that day, after 20 odd years of abusing my body, bordering on alcohol, whatever else, I literally stopped dead, and I never had a drink or anything else from that day on, not even a sip of alcohol.
Okay, and how long's that now?
4.5 years.
Right, okay, right,
Yeah.
amazing, man, amazing.
So that was obviously such a big shock that some people have to go into rehab for years and spend a fortune getting diagnosed with cancer. But I just, it was mad. The brain just switched.
I mean, I was going to ask how has that kind of changed your working in nightclubs, if you don't mind talking about it?
So,
as you as a person as well.
So weirdly enough, for the better, because if I didn't get diagnosed with cancer, I would have continued on that bad lifestyle, probably would have had a heart attack and died at some point. So although I got diagnosed with cancer, it was cancer of the rectum, the bladder, and the prostate.
Oh, wow.
So I had a massive operation. They took it all away. So they took everything out. They show you pictures before the operation. You're basically, do you know when a cow goes into an abattoir and you're split?
Right,
It was awful.
wow.
Yeah, really big operation. And they said I'd actually had it for 18 months.
Wow.
So I was so lucky that it hadn't gone everywhere else.
Yeah,
very
okay.
fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, through being clean and sober, my memory and my brain and my work ethic is now, it's unreal. I could probably do what I was doing years ago. I look back now and I think when I was at ministry, I was probably running on 20% of my what I could achieve. And we actually we was very successful as well. So now I could probably do a week's work in 2 days if I wanted. I'm switched on, I'm on it. So that's the positive thing come out of it. Still having treatment now though. The cancer has come back so many times and I've had so many operations and things removed from me. I'm in a position now where I'm having chemotherapy every 2 weeks to stop the cancer killing me.
Right.
Because it's an aggressive form of where it is.
Yeah.
That's why I look like a meth head, why my skin's so bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you talking about it.
But I would just say, especially men, if you've got...
that's it,
If you're bleeding out your bum, go and get it checked out as soon as. Don't be embarrassed, honestly.
No, I think that's a really important topic to
completely
talk about because I think people don't talk about it.
And I am very... Although it's not great, the treatment, it's awful when trying to run a business and being a parent. I'm still very lucky. I look at myself being very lucky. I'm quite a positive person.
Yeah.
So I'm very
always
fortunate
are, mate.
that I'm
Always
just alive because I've seen so many people, young people, and in the industry die the past few years. So get your bum checked out if you're bleeding.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's a really important topic to talk about. I just wanted to go on to a few other things like...
Is your bum bleeding?
Yeah.
It didn't make me think that.
You've both been bookers at clubs or both booked amazing parties. Like, what's one of your best memories of like one of your favourite artists that you booked, Tom?
Weatherall was brilliant because it was, as tragic as it was, his passing, like really in my life was like bookending my sort of career at that time as well. And like, I remember when I joined Oval Space, one of my first events where I was, okay, Tom, you go and look after the artist, was a New Year's Eve with Weatherall. And I was like, fuck, this is like God to me.
Yeah.
And I'm there and I have to be the first point person, meeting in backstage, blah, 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 going for dinner, whatever. And I don't know whether you know, but like Weatherall generally would always turn up a lot earlier than most other DJs would just plug and play and get on. Like he'd go there and sort his records, chill, smoke a biff, do whatever he's doing. And so he was there, I think, like 8 hours before his set time.
Oh wow,
And
that is.
so
I
I
thought
was
you were going to
like-
say like an hour.
No.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, great. So I've got to look after someone I've idolized and, has, one of the best DJs, I think, ever, one of the best producers as well in our world. And I had to look after him for 8 hours. And I was absolutely shitting myself.
Really?
the whole
Were you
time.
like panicking what you're going to say?
Well, yeah, because I'm like, 21, 22 years old, and I'm like, I'm
Right.
looking after fucking Weatherall. And to be fair, and as I'm sure everybody else will contest, like, he was the most lovely, friendly, accommodating person. Could tell that I wasn't, like 100% with it because I'm so shit bricking it. Yeah, and he's sitting there and we'd walk in through his like vinyl collection. And I was like, this is a dream. Like, people couldn't pay for this. This is amazing. And what got a bit naughty was, he was clean for a very, very long time. But at that particular time, you'd get some things out. And so for about 5 hours of that 8 hours prior to the set, things were out and we were doing things that probably me at 22, I'm like, I can't do it that big. That's huge. And that comes with the territory. But by the time this goes on, and honestly, after that, I was pinching myself like, this is such a lucky thing to happen.
Yeah, and such a legend as well. Like
such a legend, yeah. And I've still, booked him for years and years and years after that. And just before he passed, he was playing a show with me. Still got the text messages, where he's very.
Oh wow,
he loves his biscuits. He was a massive biscuit fan, and so like people would always ask for riders and stuff, especially because he's like teetotal for such a long time after many years of like caning it, and you'd always have to ask what biscuits he'd wanted backstage.
Right.
It's not like, oh, what crazy alcohol do you want, or what like ridiculous meal do you want to go for? He's like, no, I just want those particular biscuits. Can you get them for me? And some fizzy pop. There's always fizzy pop and some biscuits.
All right, okay, all right, amazing.
But yeah.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, Nikki, any sort of artists that you've kind of booked or worked with that, like, it was, I don't know.
I have to reference my phone because, what did I put?
Oh, you've done notes for me. I love it.
I had to, because when I started working things out in timelines, it's hard to go back 25 years. It's difficult to, and try and be factual and stuff, yeah. So, yeah, I think with the proud of booking, for me, I'm not really a fanboy. Oh, I've booked so-and-so. I've always been more, I suppose, books this DJ and I've got to go out for dinner with him.
Yeah.
I used to see it as a bit of a chore because I've never DJ'd apart from a charity gig.
Right,
so I've never really been into, that was funny. I've never been into DJing or mixing. Do you know what I mean? So me talking on a personal level with a DJ, it was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So when I was at Neighbourhood, especially Dimitri from Paris, Felix the House Cat, we'd go out for dinners and I'd just get straight on the tequila with them. We'd get really like pissed.
Yeah.
Probably get on it.
Yeah.
And we'd arrive at the club and no one could even talk. It was all like that. So for me, it was never really like who's the best or proudest of a booking. Yeah. I think I've got standout moments of probably like when I was maybe at Ministry, booking Dixon at Ministry, when you say it out loud.
Wow, yeah, wow.
It's not something you'd probably see in your lifetime. So that was quite a coup.
Was this on a Sunday? Did a special
Sunday.
Party? Yeah, I remember it. Yeah,
so I think for me, it was more of a coup rather than, I've done that. I'm proud of this booking. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Just on that, I just remembered. So I booked, some incredible people. Nile Rodgers was brilliant to me as well.
That's a great booking.
That's top chance.
Yeah, there you go. Give up now.
Gorillas, things like all of these like bigger acts. That's great. Harvey, obviously, Dixon, as you say, like doing all those all-nighters and stuff and getting a roller rink in for Harvey was insane with Red Bull, I remember years ago. But the one that absolutely flabbergasted me and my jaw was on the floor, and I've never been like twitchy when meeting someone ever. Yeah. And it was Tom Yorke.
Right,
and we
okay.
did the Atoms for Peace tour. So the first shows of this particular project, which was with Nigel Godrich and Johnny Greenwood. And so when they sort of came out of their Radiohead bit and he was doing his own thing,
Big fan. But yeah.
mate, and like he came into the venue, like you've got all the big wigs and everybody else like trying to, but he came in, and I remember his first site visit, he was like, I fucking love it. This is not a stadium. I am back in a rave, and we are
Right,
going to
okay.
make it a rave.
Brilliant.
And then like I don't know, how much you know about him, but he's a proper joker. So he was on stage doing a sound check, and he was like doing one-liners and like all this sort of like getting the bar staff involved and stuff, and it was so good. But to caveat that as well, because I love Radiohead so much, all of that stuff, like meeting Nigel Godrich was insane as well. And I was like, I was shaking when I met him. I was like, this is like, you are God to me. But also when Tom introduced himself, he was like, hey, I'm Tom. And I was like, yeah, I'm Tom. I know your name's Tom.
Oh my God, what a coincidence.
Yeah, hang on, did you copy me? I don't know. But yeah, that was the killer for me. That was amazing.
I mean, you guys have had some pretty amazing careers in London, and you're still doing it. It's like, so what are you most excited about for 2026 with the venue, and or even any other projects that you're doing?
I think Utopia is a work in progress, really. So it's going to be exciting to see how it develops, where it goes. Still needs, I suppose, work, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be in its final polished version for maybe another year and a half.
Yeah.
So I that's my main focus of getting it into its final place of where it's like up there as a standard of, so for me that's the most exciting thing I'm looking for. I do the bookings at London East. There's some great bookings going in there. Max Dean's done an event,
he's having a moment,
and that's setting the standard for even better stuff coming in. So big shout out to London East, massive.
What about yourself?
It's fun seeing the journey because it's like evolving so quickly.
Yeah.
And every single time I go on site, you're always kind of worried that things are going to stand still. And the beauty is it's already super high spec. It looks lovely, but given the experience that we have and all of the want and need to make this something really beautiful, like it is just evolving. And I love that. And I think people will really enjoy coming to the space to interact with it and just having a different experience to what a lot of people are used to. We go to all the same places all the bloody time. Like
that's it, having something different to go to, and it's like I think it's super exciting, and like kind of like last kind of thing. Why should people come and check out Utopia? Why should they come?
It's a new space. I think a lot of I said this actually recently to someone, and it's like people like to see it, and you get all the press, and you get all of like the hype, and people say, "Oh yeah, I want to go there." And like any business, if you keep on saying that and don't actually go, they don't exist anymore. And then you're like, Jesus, I didn't actually get to go to that space. And the beauty of this, I guess, is that, even though we don't have an in-house program, which I'm sure, both of us are very used to doing. And that's when you can announce seasonally and really make marketing campaigns your own and whatever. If you're just working with promoters and brands, it's a slightly different thing, where you're very reliant on people coming in, which is safer on a lot of levels because you're not taking all the risk in terms of artist fees and whatnot. But it's also, you've just got to build it and really, really push for them to come. And we've got some amazing promoters in for next year. We've got some amazing artists already in for next year. I think given the site situation of what it is, when you've got 1,700 people outside in a space which has all of the amazing services that the site has. We have all the electronic lockers and everything, loads of toilets, loads of amazing bars. It's all there, so you don't really need to worry about anything, which is great once you're on site. Really friendly security, but it's like the shoulder months, like with most venue. If you're just an internal venue, summer's crap. everybody, no one's going.
Yeah, I can imagine.
No one's
Yeah,
booking stuff in summer, and then the shoulder months are when you make the money.
Yeah.
Whereas this, we have the opportunity for both, which is really exciting. But we've only really been sort of on market since September.
Yeah.
So a lot of bookers, promoters, or whatever,
Just finding out
you're
about
already
it. Yeah.
booked up until Q4 next year anyway.
Brilliant.
So a lot of the stuff that we're doing is it's slightly chasing your tail a bit, but also there's not many spaces as individual as this. Maybe the cause is kind of the only comparison, I guess. And they're doing a fantastic job. They had the same problems when they 4 years ago, whatever it was, when they started, where everybody was like, where is this?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Proof is in the pudding that they will go as long as the things are good.
That's it. That's
the
it.
point. And the experience is nice.
Yeah.
Guys, like, listen to you guys telling stories about DJs and DJs you met. Like, there's so many good ones. Like, what are some of your favourite ones that you can remember?
So I've had because I was booking Annabelle's in Mayfair, which was very different to what I was used to doing, but taught me a lot and put you in rooms with a lot of different people. I remember there was an event where I had Seth Troxler playing in their members club, and what wasn't apparent to us when we booked that particular night, it was the owner, Richard Kerring, his wife Patricia's birthday, and so we're all down in the club, everything's happening, I'm chilling with Seth, he's having a nice time, he gets on, and then Richard's personal security comes up to me on stage, and and he's a strapped up guy, and he's like, Dom, we're gonna have to get a microphone for Richard, he wants to say a few words. And I'm like, really? Like, Seth's just gone on, it's like the headline's set, we've paid a lot of money, people are really enjoying themselves, they're in a vibe. It's like, yes, get the mic and we'll sort it out. And so I'm standing there, we get the mic, and everybody's like, oh my God, we have to do this, don't we? Because he's notorious at doing these things, because it's basically his
space. Yeah. Right. Okay.
And so we're standing on the DJ booth, Patricia, they're all having a fucking lovely time, obviously opposite in their lovely booths. And Richard then comes up and he gets on stage and he's like, touched me on the shoulder, and I'm like, Seth, I'm so sorry, but he's just going to say a couple of words for his wife's birthday. He's like, hey, it's his wife, it's his house, it's all good, as Seth would, and he's accommodating to it. Gets on the mic, and we're sort of standing there, and everybody in that audience, obviously from an Annabelle's audience perspective, they're all VIPs. They're all, that kind of person. It doesn't matter whose club it is, they are people around the world, and so they're all just obviously off their chops and enjoying a nice time in the headliner's set midway through, and they're all just standing there waiting. It's silent, the lights have gone up, and so Richard goes on this 10-minute monologue.
10 minutes? Oh wow, I thought he was going to say happy birthday.
Lovely it was. And me and all of the team are just standing there dying, and Seth even gets to a point, he's like, should I just finish? Is this it? I can't, it's going to be hard to go back on after this.
Wow.
So I sort of say, I'm like kind of nudging, and it's hard because you can't, because this guy is who he is. Anyway, finally does a mic drop, Patricia, whatever, and then Seth goes back on, and then you realise that half of the audience is outside.
Oh, right.
Or upstairs in the other rooms and stuff. We're like, we've got to build this back up.
Yeah.
And
I suppose that's completely different from those type of clubs to the East London clubs that you're building now. And
same, but on that as well, there was, we had Christian playing Arm, and Dominic, who's his agent, who's also Dixon's agent and stuff, Innovisions, whatever, looks after loads of amazing talent. But it's funny because we're just guys from the scene and whatever, and I'm like, you're getting a nice payday, it's like a Thursday or whatever it is. You're not normally doing this in the UK, and Christian's he's quite a joker, they're both massive German guys, and we're standing around, and I'm like, what are you going to play to this? And he's like, don't worry, Tom, I'm going to fuck them up. So he goes on, and he's not playing the lovely melodic techno plinky plonky, just slamming in a few bits.
Yeah.
He plays jungle. Breakcore.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
45 minutes. And everybody in that world is so used to their sort of Amapiano Afro house. They didn't know what the fuck to do. They were just standing there not jungle. They'd never danced in their lives. They were just doing this sort of weird dance, looking at each other, and he was pissing himself laughing. Me and Dominic are standing there this is kind of bad but kind of hilarious. You're obviously only here for the name. You don't know that this person goes all over their place with their music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
All right, amazing. Guys, it's been absolutely amazing having you on a podcast today. I just want to wish you all the best with Utopia.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Cool. Thank you.
Cheers.